The time is 1:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here's the news edited by Catherine Pereira and read by Ramesh Pires. First, the headlines. A special program to provide rice at concessionary prices during the festive season. The Minister of Agriculture assures that there is no issue of food security. The UNP leader says that economic stability should be implemented in collaboration with the opposition. The Bangladesh Foreign Minister says the BIMSTEC Charter proposed to be signed during Sri Lanka summit. 2 more suspects arrested over Navala filling station robbery. In news overseas, NATO to send more troops to Eastern Europe. Now the local news in detail. Minister Mahindananda Aluthgamage says that although there is a high price in goods in the market, there is food security in the country. He made this comment in response to a question raised by the opposition leader Sajith Premadasa. A special program will be implemented to provide rice at concessionary prices. He stated that there is not much reduction in paddy harvest of using organic fertilizer for cultivation activities. The leader of the UNP, Ranil Wickremesinghe, says that the economic stability of the country should be carried out joining with the government and the opposition. Participating at the Dasadesian program of the SLBC this morning, he said that an election to change the government will not be conducted this year. He also emphasized the need for preparing a program to stabilize the economy of the country while holding discussions with the IMF and the independent bond owners. He reiterated that the need for obtaining assistance from foreign countries. He further stated that it is applicable of the decision taken by the President to have a discussion with the IMF and to hold discussions with the TNA. Meanwhile, the birthday of the UNP leader, Ranil Wickremesinghe, falls today. The chairman of the corporation, Hudson Samarasinghe, paid his well wishes to the former premier on his birthday. Bangladesh Foreign Minister Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen has said that the BIMSTEC Charter is proposed to be signed during the forthcoming summit to be held in Sri Lanka on March 30th. The BIMSTEC Charter would help the forum play an effective role in the Bay of Bengal area, including Bangladesh, as a sustainable, peaceful and economically prosperous region, said Dr. Momen. He said that the Charter will help the BIMSTEC Forum become a dynamic, effective and productive regional organization through meaningful cooperation between a number of member countries. Minister Mahinda Amaravira has advised the relevant sections to take necessary measures to speed up the activities to identify places of valuable resources. The minister held discussions with officials of Sri Lanka mineral companies and mining bureau in this regard. It has been revealed that certain individuals are not carrying out their duties accordingly, although they have obtained required permits. The Police Special Task Force has arrested 2 more suspects in connection with the recent robbery and assault at a filling station in Navala. According to the police, one of the arrestees is the son of deceased underworld figure Sothu Pali. The duo, aged 27 and 29 years, are residents of Borella and Colombo 8 areas. They have been handed over to the Mirihana police for further investigation. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. We continue with more local news. Parliamentarian Professor Ranjit Bandara says that a program should be prepared to enhance the government's income. Joining the debate of the second reading of the Value-Added Tax Amendment Draft Bill, he said that the government is not expected to pressure the public through this bill. Joining the debate, Parliamentarian Tissa Athanayaka said that the main reason for the present crisis is the decrease of the dollar reserve in the country. Parliamentarian Vijitha Herath said that it is more important to prepare an economy based on production instead of taking loans. Sri Lanka Navy, in 2 separate operations, has arrested 16 Indian fishermen from Tamil Nadu and seized 2 trawlers for allegedly breaching the international maritime boundary line and illegally fishing in Sri Lankan waters. The poaching fishermen were arrested during separate patrols carried out yesterday northwest of the island of Delft in Jaffna and Iranathu in Mannar. In the special operation conducted by the Navy fast attack aircraft of the 4th Fast Attack Flotilla attached to the Northern and North Central Naval Commands, the Navy took hold of 2 Indian trawlers with 16 Indian fishermen while bottom trawling in the island waters through the international maritime borderline. The Navy said arrangements are being made to hand over the Indian poaching vessels and fishermen to relevant authorities. Police media spokesman SSP Nihal Thaldur says that a father, daughter and son-in-law died in a fire that occurred inside a house in the area of Manikumbravatta, Katugastota early this morning. The mother was meanwhile rushed to the hospital in a critical condition. According to reports, the fire has been doused. Katugastota police is conducting further investigations into the incident. And that concludes local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Indonesian ambassador to Sri Lanka, Dewi Agustina Tobing, paid a courtesy visit to the Foreign Secretary, Professor Janath Kulambage, at Sri Lanka's Minister of Foreign Affairs recently. At the meeting, the Indonesian ambassador and Professor Kulambage agreed to explore potential cooperation to strengthen further bilateral relations between the two countries and on regional and international fora, Heru Pratyayana. And that was main news.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Watch Life is brought to you by
More prizes, more gains with CIB New Year offers. Valuable gifts for every bill. 20% discount for bank cards until 10th of April. Visit CIB today.
The newly constructed two-storied building quarters for teachers in Oroboka National School in the Mathura district cannot be used for accommodation due to no supply of electricity and water. Therefore, authorities request to provide these amenities at the earliest. And that came to you in Watchlight. A bulletin of world news is next.
More prizes, more gains with CIB New Year offers. Valuable gifts for every bill. 20% discount for bank cards until 10th of April. Visit CIB today.
World News, brought to you by courtesy of
No matter what anyone says, for your lease, visit the Leasing Mahagedara. People's Leasing, Friendly Leasing Mahagedara. More information from the nearest People's Leasing branch.
People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Moving on to the bulletin of world news, first the headlines. NATO to send more troops to Eastern Europe. China plane crash, human remains found amid wreckage. And UN holds emergency session on Ukraine. Now the world news in detail. NATO is set to approve big increases in the forces deployed on its eastern flank, its General Secretary Jens Stoltenberg has said. Mr. Stoltenberg was speaking at a news conference on the eve of an emergency summit on Russia's invasion of Ukraine. He pledged more troops for Hungary, Slovakia, Bulgaria and Romania. NATO will also agree more support for Ukraine, including greater protection against the use of chemical, biological and nuclear weapons. US President Joe Biden is on his way to Brussels for a summit today and for other meetings with European leaders. Recovery teams have found human remains at the crash site of the China Eastern jet, which plunged into mountains this week. Authorities have yet to declare the number of victims, but there has been no sign so far that any of the 132 people on board had survived. Investigators still do not know why the plane suddenly entered a near vertical dive in southern China on Monday. But the recovery of the intact cockpit voice recorder is hoped to shed clues. Officials said that the black box was found damaged on the outside, but its internal records appear to be fine. The UN General Assembly is holding an emergency session on the Ukraine situation. Among the 193 member delegates from Western countries wants to vote on a resolution to immediately suspend hostilities and protect civilians and non-military facilities. The countries are also calling for increased humanitarian assistance for the war-ravaged country. Ukraine's ambassador criticized Russia and called the UN members to support the resolution. Ukrainian ambassador to UN, Sergei Kitlitsa, said, "We ask all those who stand against the war to vote with us." Back to the headlines of the world news. NATO to send more troops to Eastern Europe. China plane crash, human remains found amid wreckage. And UN holds emergency session on Ukraine. And that concludes the bulletin of world news.
World News, brought to you by courtesy of
For your wheel lease, visit the Leasing Mahagedara. People's Leasing, Friendly Leasing Mahagedara. More information from the nearest People's Leasing branch.
People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Development News is brought to you by Let's take all out of the coconut tree and make the island thriving and prosperous. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
Computers have been provided to the Tamil medium schools in the Monoragala and Badula districts. Governor of the Uva province, A.J. Musamel, was present at the occasion. The computers valued at 2 million rupees have been distributed among 14 schools in these districts. And that is Development News.
Development News was brought to you by the coconut tree is well grown in almost all the parts of the island. It is an exceptional source of extra income. The shell, the husk and almost all the parts of the coconut tree makes you money, providing you with an excellent extra source of income. It will also help to nourish the economy of the country. You will be guided with all necessary informations regarding the coconut cultivation, with the novel cultivation techniques and all other related and upgraded informations by the Coconut Research Institute, Lunavilla. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928. Sports News is brought to you by
Sampath Bank. We present your future.
Moving on to sports news, it's cricket. The England women's team won by 9 wickets at the match played against Pakistan women's team at the World Championship Cricket Tournament, played at Christchurch. England team won the toss and invited the Pakistan team to bat first. Pakistan team scored 105 runs for all out at the end of 41.3 overs. In reply, England scored 107 runs for 1 in 19.2 overs. And that was sports news.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB You Trust.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Ambassador of France to Sri Lanka, Eric Lavatu, highly applauded the Sri Lankan private sector for their painstaking effort taken to develop the country's export sector, which helps to swell the economy to a great extent. He was addressing the National Chamber of Commerce of Sri Lanka, organized annual by the National Business Excellence Awards 2021, which was held on a grand scale at the BMICH. Associated Newspapers of Ceylon Limited was the print media sponsor for the event. And that was Business News.
Business News, sponsored by
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB You Trust.
An online gem trading program will be introduced from today by the Gem and Jewellery Authority with the support of the Postal Department. The services of several identified post offices in the island will be obtained in this regard. The objective of this program is to expedite the gem trading. And that was economic news. The weather report is next.
The Weather Report.
And finally, moving on to the weather report, the Met Department says that showers or thunder showers will occur at several places in the North Central, Northwestern, Central, Sabaragamuwa and Uva provinces and Gaul and Mathura districts in the afternoon. And that was the weather report. And to end this news broadcast, a recap of the main news headlines. A special program to provide rice at concessionary prices during the festive season. The Minister of Agriculture assures that there is no issue of food security. The UNP leader says that economic stability should be implemented in collaboration with the opposition. The Bangladesh Foreign Minister says the BIMSTEC Charter proposed to be signed during Sri Lanka summit. 2 more suspects arrested over Navala filling station robbery. And in news overseas, NATO to send more troops to Eastern Europe. And with that, we conclude this news broadcast from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.